You are now listening to the Life of Produk Podcast.
Yeah, what up, man? It's the boy Produk, and now locked into the Life of Product Podcast. This is episode 94. Shouts out to everybody that rock with episode 93, man. Shouts out to the Cuzzle. Yo, the Cuzzle called into the show. He hasn't called in since, we moved to this new spot. When I was at the old spot, he called in before. Called into the show, and we got a nice, solid 40-something minute interview about hip-hop. Listen, when the Cuzzle called in, I already know it's going to be a good show because we get to talk that hip-hop stuff. And what I love about it, we low-key debate on certain stuff, and I like the way that he goes with it. You know what I'm saying? It gets me going, man. So shouts out to y'all for supporting that episode. That episode did about 2.7-something thousand views on YouTube, like right under 3K. I can't remember how much streams it did, but the numbers was up, and I appreciate y'all for rocking with the show, man. I hope everybody's good. I hope y'all weekend was good. This past weekend, my weekend was amazing. My son graduated high school. I told y'all we moved from up north, but down south. I actually finished high school down south. We actually graduated from the same high school, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how the universe coming back and bang. It's episode 94, baby. Before I get into the episode, I want to talk that sports stuff. Listen, man, I keep seeing clips of Tyson Fury training MMA, and I don't know how I feel about it. Yo, shouts out to Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury's story is amazing. Not only is it amazing, he's a great boxer. He's a great boxer. To beat Deontay Wilder, you have to be good. You can't just be no walk in the park, because I feel like Deontay Wilder is one of the best to ever do it. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not like y'all. I'm not like y'all fake fans that turned their back on Deontay Wilder after the whole Tyson Fury thing. And in my opinion, Deontay Wilder should have been given that first fight when he knocked him down. He gave him that work that first fight. Second fight, third fight, I got to go back and watch it. I got mixed feelings on it. But I've been seeing clips of Tyson Fury training MMA, and it kind of looks mad funny. It looked weird. It just looks weird. It don't look right. I think he was training with Nick Diaz. That's a good look if he's training with Nick Diaz. I think it's cap. I do not see Tyson Fury getting into an MMA cage and doing that. I don't see it happening. And it takes years to learn MMA. Yes, he's a great fighter on the boxing, and I think if he got into a ring with an MMA fighter and they went straight hands, he would finish him first round. First round is a wrap. He's going to finish him. And I can't really think of too many MMA fighters that are around his size, but there's one. I'm going to get into that. So I don't know, man. And then he even said, well, that's crazy because before the clip started surfacing, he said you won't see him rolling around on the ground or something like that. He was rolling around on the ground, doing gravels and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. I don't know if Tyson Fury's doing that as a joke or just to troll people, to get people going. There was a tweet, I believe, from Francis Ngannou. I forgot how you say his name, but shouts out to him. No disrespect, homie, for mispronouncing your name. I would love to see that fight. First of all, I wanted to see Francis fight John Jones. When it didn't happen, I guess, because I think it was like a last-minute thing where whatever happened with him not wanting to re-sign his contract, something like that, which was very unfortunate. I feel like that would have been one of the fights, MMA, on the MMA side, that would have been one of the fights of the decade. It would have been Francis versus John Jones. I feel like Francis is the one person that could have came close to beating John Jones. Now, I'm not singling John Jones out, because John Jones is that dude. John Jones is that dude. I was telling my son earlier, we was talking about John Jones, and my favorite John Jones fight was when he fought Machida. Because if you go back and watch that fight, it was not looking good for him that first round. His style was Machida pretty much trained in that area since he was like a kid, something like that. He's not a walk in the park. He was strategically and technically schooling John Jones, but John Jones was so good. I don't know what pep talk his corner gave him in between that first and second round, but he came back and gave Machida that work. That was a good fight, a really good fight. But I do feel like if anybody was going to beat John Jones or come close, because I'm not saying Francis could beat John Jones. John Jones is different. He do this from a different walk of life. He's different. I see John Jones retiring undefeated. I believe he has one more fight. But if anybody was going to really, really give John Jones a real run for his money, like all the distance, it would have been Francis. Francis punches like, I feel like this dude could break through cinder blocks when he punches. Dude arms is huge, first of all. I think John Jones is faster than him. I think John Jones fights technically better, but Francis, and what I like about both John Jones and Francis, they got hands. I love watching MMA fighters that could use their hands. That makes the fight 10 times better. I love kicks, but I feel like grappling is cool, but to me, I hate watching people grab each other in a fight. It doesn't matter what kind of fight it is. I hate the grabbing. I feel like the grabbing is cool because it's a part of it, but I hate it because I feel like a lot of guys will grab each other to try to outwin you or gain wind back into their body. A lot of these guys, if you ever been in a real fight and you had to like fight somebody off of you, you had to wrestle on a wall or wrestle with the ground. And a lot of these guys don't got hands. They don't got hands. So they scared to take a punch. So what they do is they'll grab you to try to outwin you. That's one of the main things at the end. Look, I took judo. I know what I'm talking about. Judo was all grappling. Now you have a lot of guys who grapple game is insane. I don't know about how Francis grapple game. I seen him slam a lot of guys. That would have been an amazing fight if John Jones got to fight Francis. And I'm a little upset we did not get to see that. Now, throwing this out there into the universe, if John Jones retires from UFC and gets a one-fight contract with some other random, whether it's Bellator or even that one that Jake Paul is starting, and him and Francis get millions of dollars worth of contract to fight each other, that is going to be the fight of the decade. I don't care what nobody say. Speaking of fighting, how many of y'all saw the Haney versus Lomachenko fight? That was a good fight. Let me scratch that. That was a great fight, and the reason why I want to touch on that fight, first of all, I love boxing. I love contact sports, whether it's boxing, MMA. I've been watching a lot of Muay Thai lately. I believe there's a couple different leagues or whatever. I used to watch a lot of kickboxing as a kid, but Muay Thai, right? I feel like Muay Thai needs to break that ceiling. It also needs to break barriers internationally and become bigger in the United States, because I feel like out of all of the sports where you can kick and things like that, mixed with everything, I feel like Muay Thai fighters, their hand game is crazy. They throw punches just as good as boxers. To me, now y'all might beg to differ. There's people that will debate me on this that might win. Kickboxers are good, but I don't feel like kickboxers, their hand skills are as great as boxers or Muay Thai fighters. Maybe it's because of the glove size. And Muay Thai fighters, their gloves are smaller. Well, some of them are smaller. They're great. But the Haney and Lomachenko fight, that ended in a decision, and it was given to Haney. Now, I went through the rabbit hole of YouTube videos of people analyzing it. I went through the comments and things like that. And it seems that everybody has their own opinion on that fight. I'm going to give my opinion on that fight. I feel like that fight could have went either way, decision-wise. I personally feel that fight should have been decision-wise. It should have been a draw, just to make it fair to both fighters. It should have been a draw. That's just me. Some of y'all might disagree that it should have been a draw. I felt like it should have been a draw. I watched that fight twice in its entirety just to analyze it because I love boxing that much. Shouts out to Lomachenko. Shouts out to Haney. Two things I want to bring to y'all about the Lomachenko fight and the Haney fight. One, I see why everybody is saying that Loma should have won that fight by decision. I also see from a technical side and from my experience of watching boxing, I see why the judges gave Haney that fight. And from watching that fight, I believe Haney was winning some of the earlier rounds. Haney learned something that night. Lomachenko learned something that night, but Haney really learned something that night because Haney's, I believe he's a little younger than Lomachenko. I tip my hat to Haney for getting in there with the fighter that had a little more experience, for getting schooled by that fighter and still coming out the victor. I feel like Lomachenko he was cornering Haney a few times. He was catching Haney with really good face punches and things like that. Haney was catching him with some amazing body shots. Amazing body shots. And what I notice about body shots, right, just from going to the boxing gym, watching boxing, things like that, sparring a little bit. When you work that fighter body for that long, it doesn't matter how many punches Lomachenko hit Haney with in the face. He was not dropping Haney. If he had the power, he's a strong fighter. I didn't see him knock some dudes out, but if he had the power throughout that fight to knock out Haney, he would have knocked him out, and it didn't happen. And the reason why is Haney is younger, but he's so good at his early age. He realized that the strategic body shots that he could hit Loma with, even though it didn't fully slow Loma down because Loma was on him the whole fight, it knocked his energy level down. It knocked his energy. Imagine we're watching a video game. You got the energy level and the power level, and it's knocking it down with each body shot. That's what Haney did. Haney has an amazing corner. Shouts out to Lomachenko's corner too, but Haney corner is amazing. And for them to instill that in him and have him work that body, that's what he did. So in my opinion, I understand why Haney was given that win. But that next fight, if he fights Shakur Stevenson, is it Stevens or Stevens? I can't remember. That Shakur fight is going to be serious. In my personal opinion, I think Haney needed this Loma fight before he fights Shakur. Because had Haney not take that Loma fight, he would probably go into that Shakur fight and lose. But since he has that experience now to fight somebody like Loma, that kind of set him up to understand how to fight Shakur. Because you could watch his tapes all day, but if you don't fight a fighter close to that, you still might go in there blinded. G is the Boy Product Life Product Podcast, episode 94. We will be right back with the second part of the show. G, what up, man? It's the Boy Product. We're now back with the Life of Product Podcast. Is episode 94, man. Shouts out to the new YouTube subscribers. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, it is youtube.com/Life of Produk Podcast. That is PRODUK Podcast. Also, we just started back up the podcast workshops. The podcast workshops are via Zoom. There's only 20 slots of class. It is every Saturday at 10 a.m. All you have to do is email lifeofproduct@gmail.com. We can get you payment details. You will be added. It's a 2-hour class. We take 1 hour to walk you through everything, and then we put another hour aside for questions because I want everyone to get their questions out and get everything fully explained. And once the podcast is finished, the podcast workshop is finished, you will get a free PDF pretty much detailing all of the key points that we talked about. Life of Product Podcast, that class is only $35. If you can't do a class or if you want a one-on-one session throughout the week, all you have to do is email the scheduler. That is only $40. It's $5 more. G is the Boy Product. Life Product Podcast. I was talking about talking about sports on the first one. Not to stay on the sports side, but I think in August, I believe late July or August, Nate Diaz is supposed to fight Jake Paul. I got issues with the Jake Paul fights because look, Nate Diaz, get that bag, brother. Get that money. I encourage you to get that money. I think he came out of retirement to get that money. I'm not sure if he's still actively doing UFC. But from what I'm hearing, it's supposed to be a 2-fight contract, 1 boxing and 1 MMA. If it was just MMA, I would call it straight Nate Diaz. But boxing is a little different. So by him stepping into that boxing realm with Jake Paul, I'm not feeling it. I'm not. But listen, get that money, brother. I just want to see. I think Jake Paul has potential, but to me, he will not live up to his full potential if he does not start fighting active younger boxers his age, boxers his size. What either a better record or a record around the same, because we saw what happened when he fought Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury was, I think, 8-0 before they fought. Tommy Fury was around the same age, he's a little more brolic than Jake Paul, but they're around the same height. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Jake Paul didn't get good what's his name? He got good punches off. But Tommy Fury schooled him and he showed him why he comes from a boxing family. So the Nate Diaz fight, like I said, Nate, get that money. Yo, listen, man, you give me $10 million, I'll fight a YouTuber. I don't care. I don't care if he's a midget and I gotta fake and throw it and take a dive. For $10 million, I'm doing it. I'm letting you know right now. Give me that bag. G is the Boy Product, Life of Product Podcast, episode 94. Episode 94 is titled, What Do You Put Your Love Into? Listen, and before we get deep into the show, not to get off subject, all of y'all that be hitting me with the DMs and the emails, don't email me and be like, pause, not chill, brother. This is grown man energy. And the reason why I'm bringing that grown man energy because it needs to be bought. Because too many of y'all be playing out here, and I want to really spread this message. What do you put your love into? There's different types of love, and I spoke about this before. I believe one of the strongest forms of what you put your love into, quote unquote, will be God. I'm trying to live that life and become more God-fearing. I'm trying to use less profanity. I'm trying to walk the straight path more than easy because society be trying me. Bang, bang. But I feel like the number one thing of what you put your love into should be God. Because, and I'm not trying to preach y'all, but without God, man, there's things that happen all around you that could have happened this morning when you woke up, but you woke up, right? You still functioning, right? You got to give praise to that. That's not coincidence. You are not controlling your life fully. You are not steering the steering wheel. You are not steering the car fully. It's coming from a higher power. So I feel like the number one part of that, what you put your love into, it should be God. We need me, and this is me from experience. I would like to get to a point in life where I am more self-conscious of the things I do, the things I say, the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I move, the way I act. I want to be more self-conscious of that. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be able to go to church every Sunday. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I would love to go to church. I haven't been in a minute. I hate to be that guy that only goes for funerals. I don't even go to weddings. Yeah, I ain't been in a wedding in a minute. I don't know, man. I'm good. I ain't trying to catch no flowers or all that bong bong, but they got good cake though. So if y'all trying to invite the kid, I might pull up, eat and dip. That's what I do. I'm from Brooklyn. But yeah, like I would like to get to a point where I go to church here and there and things like that because I feel like as I get older, I feel like life is changing. It is changing. Let me not say I feel like life change. Life is changing. Things change. Our body change. Our thought patterns change. Our money changes. I want to get to a place of peace. Is where I want to get, and to get to that place of peace, I have to be peaceful. Exactly. So to get to that place of peace, I want to invest more in the God and really, really walk the path that He wants me to walk. Now I feel like I'm walking the path He wants me to walk by getting on here every week rocking out this podcast and spreading this message, and I see the numbers going up. People personally tell me that I'm delivering to them. I'm delivering hope. I'm delivering happiness. I'm delivering a sense of understanding to them. And I was watching a video. It's two girls that got they got a podcast. The girl, I think her name is Meg, and the girl Simone or whatever. And the girl was saying how the other girl Meg, she was saying something about she doesn't really listen to a lot of secular music no more. She was saying how since she stopped listening to secular music, she's been listening to more to Christian rap, and she's also something, and it really stuck with me. She said how in the Bible there's a sense of what serving is what she said it was about. It was about serving when you're serving people and you're doing in a sense doing part of God's work and you're out here spreading the message and helping people. It comes back to you, and it took me years to understand that because I was already somewhat doing that, but I didn't realize I was doing that. I thought I was just doing certain things out of the kindness of my heart because I was raised like that. I was raised half and half, like half on that side and half hood. The hood side is, you know what I'm saying? I'll knock you out and pray for you. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't realize I was doing that already. And then I had to look at a certain point, and this is a true story. Multiple points, certain multiple points of my life, I had to really sit back and I was like, wow, like maybe that happened because I did XYZ. And I'm not doing XYZ to get ABC. I'm genuinely doing it from the kindness of my heart. So from hearing her say that, it opened up something in me, and I started noticing other people speak on that type of subject. And it's kind of like I had an aha moment. Those aha moments are real. And I don't know about y'all, but I've had multiple aha moments throughout my life. And I thank God that I've had them because sometimes I can be ignorant. I can be ignorant. I can be hard headed. Listen. Yo, look, I'm a Gemini, right? And I get stuck in my ways sometimes. One of my problems are once I'm so headstrong about certain things, once I say no, it's a wrap. I am not changing my mind. It's not happening. And my toxicity kicks in, and I take pride in saying no to a lot of things. Do I need to change that? Absolutely. Will I change it anytime soon? I don't know. Rock with it. But at the end of the day, these aha moments have hit me multiple times, especially as of lately. And I'm seeing more and I'm understanding more, but most importantly, I'm feeling more. And by me feeling more, it's opening that door and showing me that path to where I need to be at, which is pretty dope, man. I'm not all the way there yet. I'm gonna let you know right now. I ain't all the way there yet. Well, I get there, yes. But these are the things you should put your love into. I feel like you should put your love into your kids. It's difference. There's a difference between raising your kids and putting your love into your kids. Some of these parents, they just, oh, I can't wait to turn 18, get out. No, it's deeper than that. It goes further till the day you die. I'm gonna keep it real with you as a parent. Real parents understand that your kids are still your kids once they turn 30. They're still your kids once they turn 40. Lord willing, you're still alive. Once you hit those age, that is still your kids. And on average, if you raise your kids right, well, some kids are ignorant. You could raise your kids right and they still become, mom. But say, best case scenario, you did a great job. You raised your kids. Your son is a grown man. He's 30 years old. You at whatever age you are, you 55, 60, that grown man is still going to respect you as his father. And that is my goal. That is my goal. I don't want to be one of these parents out here who they kids just don't rock with them. That's a huge fear of mine. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like I plan on not being like that. You know what I mean? And God forbid that type of scenario comes up. All right, let's sit down, let's talk about it. Let's see what happened. Let's see where I went wrong. Let's see where we went wrong, and let's see where we can come to whatever common ground is there. And that's the vibe that I'm on. I had a dude I was cool with. Me and this dude was really cool years ago. Me and son was hanging out one time. So I forgot what we was doing. We ended up going to the mall somewhere, right? And this is a true story. We ended up going to the mall somewhere, and I'll never forget this. And I told myself I never wanted to be in this position. So me and him, we was going to the mall. We was going to just we wasn't even buying them. We was just that boys. It was like, yo, let's go to the mall. I'll drive. I'm like, all right, bet. Let's ride. Let's go. So we go to the mall. We in there walking around. We walk into a department store. I forgot. I think this was what store it was. I can't remember what store it was. But we walking through a department store, and we see his mom's. And I'm like, hey, Miss Such and Such, how you doing? Hey, how's it going? She's hugging me. Hey, Marquise, how you been? How's it going? How's your dad? I'm like, oh, you good? You chilling? She just looked at her son. He looked at her, and they just turned around and kept going. And I was, it was awkward because I'm in the middle, and I'm in the middle like, wait a minute. And I was like, yo, that's your mom's. He was like, yeah, we ain't talking right now. And I was like, yo, this is weird. Like it was so awkward. I never wanted to be like that with my mom's. God rest her soul, when she was alive. And I never was like that. We was great. We were great. We were like best friends. I wasn't a mama's boy, but we were like best friends. So that type of energy, I don't want to have ever have that type of energy with my kids. God forbid, because I'll smack one of them. You could be, you see me in the street and you don't speak. Okay, I'm gonna knock some sense. You're gonna think this is back when you was 3, 4, 5 years old. Let's take it back with a time machine. Bong bong. G is the boy product, Life of Product Podcast. We will be right back with the third part of the show, episode 94. G, what up, man? It's the boy Product, and now back with the Life of Product Podcast, episode 94. Episode 94 is titled, What Do You Put Your Love Into? Before I get back into the show, I had a few people reach out about ads and sponsorships and advertising. Same email, lifeofproduct@gmail.com. That's LIFEOFPRODUK podcast. Life of lifeofproduct@gmail.com. Y'all be giving y'all a YouTube link, but not a Gmail is lifeofproduct@gmail.com, man. You need ad space, you need sponsorship. If you need an interview, if you need an interview, I don't care what country you're from. I don't care if you're calling from Mars. You got a cell phone signal from Mars. Call me. Let's get this interview popping. Tell me what's popping out of space. Let's get it. G is the boy Product, Life of Product Podcast, episode 94. What do you put your love into? You have to put your love into time. Time. I told y'all before, time is a currency. Time, how you spend your time may determine what means the most to you, what you love. Time is a segue of love. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're spending your time wrong, you might fall short and not understand that this activity right here might have been something that you really loved, and it could have excelled you so far. It doesn't. And listen, man, I know we all love the hustle and bustle, but everything is not about money. Everything, you can't take that money with you when you die. I'm all for getting it out here hustling and doing what I'm all for working doubles if you punching the clock. I'm all out here for putting money up and investing. I'm all for stock. I'm all for crypto, but you cannot take it with you when you die. Best case scenario, it goes to your children when you die. That is best case scenario. Which, you know what I'm saying? So yes, make your money, but your money is not the strongest form of currency. It is time. Time does not go backward. It only goes forward. So how are you spending your time? A lot of people that have figured this out, people that get it, they understand that putting your time into stuff that you love, it could be a hobby. Spending your time into what you love can be a hobby. Now, I'm not talking about you're a 40-year-old playing video games all day. I'm not knocking the 40-year-old men that sit in the house playing video games. It's safe in the house. You're saving money in the house. But me, I need more than that. I need more than that. That's just me. I'll play here and there with my sons, but I need more than that as an adult. So your time going into your hobby might be what saves your mental health. It might be. You might be in an environment that feels like it's closing in on you. You might say, if you live in the hood or whatever, you might live in the hood or whatever, and you feel like there's a fight every week, there's a shootout every week. I know a lot of people, right? It's a weird thing. It's like kind of like a double entendre type thing. Maybe I'm using the wrong word for that. I worked in the airline industry for like 13 years, right? I've known people that went on nice vacations. I mean, spending thousands of dollars. Yo, I seen people book hotels in other countries. I seen people book hotels in Vegas. I seen people pay like $400-500 a night and stay like 4 or 5 nights and end up spending with the hotel fee, rental, food, over $3,000 on a vacation that literally only lasted a few days, right? Now, on the outside, I've seen people do this. Yo, You spending all that money just to go back to the hood. You could have used that. You could have moved. You could have invested that money, whatever. That sounds great. You know, people be really quick to criticize people or give their 2 cents and everything. That sounds great. But realistically, that person might not be able to do that. They're probably not able to do that. New York City is a very expensive state. I knew somebody that was living in the projects and her rent was $1,700 a month. $1,700 a month in a project in New York, in Canarsie. At the time I was living in Jersey and I had a nice 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom with parking for $1,700 a month. So I know a few people that live in a PG. I know people that drive the bus, that drive an MTA bus that live in a project, and it's because it's rent controlled, and that's the cheapest that they can find. So if that person saved up their money, saved their money up for 2 months or whatever, and went on a vacation and spent $3,000 just for 4 or 5 days the most, just to come back to that environment, don't knock that person, because maybe they needed that for their mental health. Maybe that person felt like everything was closing in on them, and for them to get away and for them to be okay, to feel like they can actually breathe, they need to change their environment, because in all actuality, they might not be able to say, oh, I'm going to stack this money up and I'm going to go move. No, it don't work like that. It does not work like that. People got to understand where I come from up there. 1 month's rent, 2 months security, 2 months rent, 1 month security. I remember I got an apartment one time, I had to pay over $4,000 just to move into it. That was with the deposit and everything. So it doesn't work like that. It don't work like that. Then say if they did save it and they was able to get that deposit money up, now they have to pay extra money to live somewhere nicer. That extra whatever might be $1,000 a month. Who can afford that? So let's not be so quick to criticize, criticize people whenever we look at people's situations. You don't know what that person has to do to maintain their sanity. We don't know. We don't, and by you criticizing these people, whether it's open criticism, I see people create memes. A lot of y'all people that create memes are evil, and I'm gonna say that. Y'all memes don't bother me. I'm built different, but I've seen memes bother people. I've seen people repost stuff and say, how could you say stuff like that? A lot of y'all people that create these memes, it comes from a dark place. It doesn't come from a happy place. It don't come from a place of concern. It doesn't, it's a dark sense of criticism because you don't like yourself, or you feel like by you bashing people, you're pushing them in the dirt and pushing yourself up. Why do you live like that? Why God don't like ugly? And I asked y'all this, man. It's like who said it? Was it Cole? Certain make millions, other make memes. That is true. Time is a form of currency. Your mental health all plays in a part of that. If you are not able to make the millions or whatever, make memories, make something that's gonna be, detrimental to your health on the positive side, that's gonna help you. We have to stop breaking each other down, and a lot of y'all are doing that. And I refuse to be. I'm not gonna be that podcaster that's gonna switch up one day and just criticize everything everybody does. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels, but I'm not gonna get out here and say critical stuff about people. There was a few things he did say I did agree with. Don't get mad at me. I'm grown. I'm not gonna do that type of stuff. I'm just not that dude that wakes up and gets his rocks off by damaging people's lives. And a lot of y'all podcasters do that. And I'm not gonna say no names. And I'm not saying that to be critical of y'all. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you will have to look at yourself in the mirror. When you could be an 80-year-old, retired, you made millions, or for damaging people, boom, boom, like that. But when you cross over to the other side and they got that book in front of you, whatever they holding, and they weighing what you said, because there's power in the tongue, then you're going to think back like, wow, I shouldn't have said that. That 10, 20 million you made in media, damaging people might be detrimental to your afterlife. So that's stuff that I think about. And I want a lot of y'all to take that into consideration. Look, y'all might, look, a lot of y'all always want to criticize me. A lot of y'all want to debate with me, and that's cool. I'm down for a good debate. You're only going to get about 2-3 responses from me. After, I'm gonna be like, all right, shut up, and I'm gonna just walk off, and I'm gonna just leave you in the comments. Yo, you can talk to yourself. A lot of people go on my DMs and they talk to themselves. You're gonna keep talking to yourself because it's all good. But at the end of the day, I stand by the stuff that I say. So this is episode 94. What do you put your love into? It's the boy product. Life of Product Podcast. It's a corporate entertainment thing. It's your boy birthday next week. Bong bong. Listen, man. Thank God that I made it this far. I'm not gonna tell you I'm my age until I podcast that day because I'm dropping the podcast during my birthday, and I will be on vacation during my birthday, and I'm going to podcast while I'm out there. And the plan is to podcast early that morning, drop it that day. That's pretty much part of my birthday gift to myself. Besides that, and the vacation. I love all of y'all. Thank you for the support. It's the boy product. I'm out, baby. Gia.
You are now listening to the Life of Produk Podcast.